Hey guys, my name is Rene and I am a veterinarian, and I go on TikTok every day to help give people information or educational information about the veterinary field or their individual fur babies. And one of the questions that I do get a lot and people ask me about are what are the best supplements and or what are the best treatments for arthritis in dogs and cats. And so I figured I'd make this video today to try to help alleviate and try to answer some of that questions, because sometimes I can be able to answer questions longer with videos that I have on here than I can answering them in my lives. And so arthritis is essentially when you start having deterioration starting to happen in the joints of your pets. And studies have shown repeatedly that there are starting to be signs of osteoarthritis in the joints and changes in the joints of cats and dogs at 2 and older. So we know that our pets are having joint changes pretty early in their lives, which would make sense, of course, right? Because they don't live as long as we do. So it would make sense that they would mature much faster than, what we would. And so typically, I would say roughly about 2 years of age, it would be a good idea to start considering putting your pet on some type of joint supplement. And so the ones that I really like, if you want to start at 2, if you just want to use an over-the-counter, you could try something called Cosequin. And there are Cosequin for dogs and cats. And so you can use Cosequin to kind of help maybe slow down the progression of how quickly osteoarthritis starts for your kiddos. And that also goes for anybody who talks about hip dysplasia. So hip dysplasia is essentially, it's an issue with their joints, but a lot of it is associated with arthritis or congenital issues, but we treat them very similar. And once they get to about 7, I would say, or even younger if you want to, and you can, consider putting them on something called Dasequin Advanced or Movaflex. I do like Dasequin Advanced a little bit more than Movaflex because Dasequin Advanced does have these same ingredients that Movaflex has, but it also has glucosamine and chondroitin in it. And so I like that one because it's a little bit of everything all in one. And it's pretty palatable. Dogs really like it. From there, other options that we have, let's say if your pet is already having pain or is already on medications for arthritis, you could talk to your veterinarian about Librela. It is a once-a-month injection that can help reduce the overall pain that an animal has from arthritis. It is a monoclonal antibody, so basically we're giving your pet basically a boost dose of things that it's already making in its body, but we're just giving them more of it. The only times we don't recommend Librela is for any pet that already has some type of neurologic or neurological weakness. And then from there, there's Adequin. Adequin is an injection that you can give your pet, and it's really the only thing so far on the market that has been proven to help rebuild the cartilage in their joints. And so that is an option. Typically it starts at a loading dose and then it gradually gets down to a maintenance dose, but that's an injection. Librela is also an injection. And then there are NSAIDs that can help, so non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. And there are a multitude of different ones, and just like with humans, one that works for one animal may not work as well for another. So there's a couple different ones. There's like Osteomax or Deramax. There is Carprofen or Rimadyl. Then there is Previcox. There is meloxicam. So there's a couple of different ones that can be tried. So if one doesn't work for your dog, doesn't necessarily mean that there's not another. And then if you have a pet who has liver or kidney disease, there's Galliprant, which is an anti-inflammatory that has come out in the last several years that is beneficial to be able to help dogs with liver and kidney disease have some relief from osteoarthritis pain, where before there weren't great options for them. So there's a bunch of different NSAIDs that can be given to them. I don't recommend anything over the counter. Ibuprofen is toxic to your dog. Ibuprofen and Tylenol unfortunately will kill your cat, so don't give them anything over the counter. And from there, if they still need more medication, then you can give them like nerve medications like gabapentin and other things. So, and there's other, opioids and things that we can use if their pain is severe enough. And in addition to that, you want to help your pets get traction, especially if they're having difficulty getting up and they're struggling to get up off the floor. And so I really like these things called toe grips. You can get You can get those on the internet, and you measure your dog's toenails and the width of their toenails, and be able to order the right size for them. And it can basically help them get traction no matter where they are, because I do know a lot of people who have older dogs have a lot of carpet runners throughout their house to be able to let their dogs, move around the house without too much issue. And then I definitely don't want to leave the cats out, because cats, I think, are silent sufferers. A lot of people just assume because their cat doesn't show obvious signs of lameness that they're not painful, when in reality, cats are just silent sufferers. So your cat is older than 7, your cat is having some type of arthritis pain. Kind of indications that you can know that your cat is struggling. If you have a cat who's on the table and they don't bound off the table, they don't leap off the table, but they actually kind of like slide down the table and then get off, that is a sign that your cat's in some discomfort. Obviously, if a cat or a dog is lame or limping in any form, they're painful. And so the biggest thing to take away for cats is that a lot of people just assume that their cats are not painful, and they are. And so options for cats, again, like I said, cats have Cosequin. There's a joint supplement for that, and then there is a Dasequin for cats as well. And then in addition to that, Silencia. Silencia is basically the cat version of Librela for dogs. And I have anecdotally seen Silencia improve the quality of life of cats significantly. And of course, cats can also take things like gabapentin and other things to help with their pain. Steroids can sometimes be used for arthritis pain in dogs and cats, but it's not our first choice because of all of the other side effects that come with steroids. So it's not the first thing that we would recommend. And it's something that I'm going to literally reach for last. It's never going to be something that I'm going to use first, or pretty much unless it's just for whatever reason there's no other option. And the biggest thing that we can take away from arthritis or osteoarthritis or pain in your pets is that not one thing is a complete fix for everything. You actually have to sometimes use multimodal treatment, meaning that you may have to use 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 6 things to help improve the quality of life of your dog and their arthritis. And again, like I said, cats don't have a lot of options, but Silencia is an option that I have seen just really, really improve the quality of life of a lot of cats. And so that's usually my first go-to when I'm recommending arthritis issues for cats. So the biggest thing, again, guys, is just remember that it is multimodal. Not one thing is going to be the right thing that fixes everything. And you may have to do a trial and error to figure out which one is the best thing for your pet. And so take the information that I've given you in this video and talk to your veterinarian and to see if there's other options that you guys can try to improve the overall quality of your pet's life. Have a good one.